What is up, guys? It is Yuli. Today I'll be ranking the 2025 films I've seen in the first quarter of the year. Before we go further in, I would like to let you guys know that these are my opinions and my opinions only. So if you disagree with any of these takes, kindly share your disagreement in the comment section. And I would like to put a spoiler warning, so if you haven't seen any of these movies, now would be a good time to leave this video. However, before we start the video, please be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any new videos heading your way. The tiers for this ranking video are Oscar Gold, meaning the film was great and is deserving of an Academy Award right here. Pop culture, meaning that the film was good, but it's only worth remembering through TV and social media. It's alright, meaning the film isn't good or bad, it just needs improving. Don't bother, meaning it's not really worth watching. Hot garbage, meaning it makes The Room look like a good movie. Alright, to begin this film ranking and to begin my film binge of 2025, which I started late, surprisingly, is Companion. Now, I don't know why I started really late. I was supposed to go see One of Them Days, which that's coming up later. Which, now actually thinking about it, I think I delayed it because I wanted to go see it with a friend and we actually never planned it. Oh well. Now, when I saw this, I was saying to myself, Honora, but Annie as a love robot? I like Sophie Thatcher as the main love robot, and I was kind of connecting this to Don't Worry, Darling. And I'm kind of connecting it because you have someone who's trying to keep their love interest together while their love interest is trying to find out what's going on with them. Although this is better than Don't Worry, Darling, I'll admit. I like Jack Quaid as Josh and as Sophie Thatcher's love interest. I thought Megan Surrey was alright in this film. Well, I mean, she had a big impact in this film with trying to get Jack Quaid together with his feelings and everything, but I just thought she was alright. She was also a little too dramatic, but she was funny. Overall, it's not bad. We're going to be putting this in pop culture, and it's mostly because you guys are going to disagree with me when I say this. I don't see any Oscar Gold potential in this. I'm sorry. So we're putting this in pop culture. Next up is Dogman. Now, this might be one of the most cutest and funniest DreamWorks movies I've ever watched since Captain Underpants. Man, why did I just say that? Am I appealing to Jane Alpha now? Maybe, I don't know. And it's also been 8 years since Captain Underpants as well, and this film kinda delivered. I liked how they kept Dogman silent, given that, he doesn't have any dialogue in the books. I may be wrong. Please fact check me in the comments. I love Pete Davidson as the villain cat, Petey. And I also like the fact that Petey cloned himself as a baby, and he couldn't get rid of that clone until that baby was 18. That's crazy. I love Isla Fisher and Lil Rel Howery as supporting characters in this movie. And I loved how he was telling Dogman his duties and how when he was throwing away the paper, Dogman just kept giving it back to him. And how Dogman was in the security camera room and how he was saying, if you ever find this, you look at the cameras. I just remember laughing at that part a lot. The only thing that DreamWorks should probably fix is the story, the character development, and the anticipation to the climax. But overall, this wasn't bad. It was cute. But, since I'm saying this wasn't bad and it was cute, this doesn't mean we're putting it in pop culture. We're going to put this in It's Alright. Because, honestly, for me as an adult, I still enjoy animated films and kids' films, but I don't enjoy as much as I did with Captain Underpants back in 2017. So, we're putting this in It's Alright. Next up is Love Hurts. Now, all you guys know that Everything Ever All at Once is my favorite movie of all time. As you guys might have seen in my channel trailer that I posted, which was the last video that I posted. And I love that film, and I love Ke Huy Quan in that movie. And I love the fact that 3 years later, he finally got his first leading role. Nothing but Hollywood comebacks, you know? Hollywood comebacks are really poetic when you think about it. Now, was this everything a Hollywood Oscar winner can dream of? Not really. Kiwi Kwan, he was all right in this movie. I kind of envision him as a real life home realtor. I like how he performed his own stunts in this movie when it came to the martial arts scenes, when it came to combating the enemies and everything like that. I like that. But I really find it weird how Ariana DeBose is a gang member in this movie. Like, come to think about it, I don't think I've seen Ariana DeBose as a member of a gang. I think I just only see her as the supporting role she was in West Side Story. It was weird seeing Marshawn Lynch, but at the same time, it's kind of understandable seeing him, given that he can kind of be a villain sometimes. Now look, I get this is trying to improve from Argyle, but I don't really see it as an improvement from Argyle, but it's a little better. I'll tell you that. So overall, this is gonna go and it's all right because this is not Argyle, and this is way better than it. Next up is Captain America: Brave New World. Now, I've watched the MCU for as long as I can remember, and honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a really bad film since Captain Marvel, but this might replace Captain Marvel because this just sucked. Now, look, I'm not disputing the fact that Anthony Mackie is great as being Captain America as of right now, but I don't think the acting was really good in this movie. Now, I like Harrison Ford succeeding William Hurt in playing Thaddeus Ross, and I find it a little weird how Thaddeus Ross became president. Well, I mean, I find it weird, but I also find it pretty cool. One thing I love is Giancarlo Esposito was one of the villains in this movie. Like, Gus Fring went from being a crime boss in New Mexico to all of a sudden trying to attack the US. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we're gonna stop talking about what I just said about Giancarlo Esposito, Anthony Mackie, and Harrison Ford. We're gonna talk about the story here. Why do we need 2 hours to talk about world affairs and tensions about it? Now, I get that this isn't really a good jump into a topic like this, given what the US politics looks like, and I get this is trying to spread awareness about it, but I don't really like the story behind Captain America Brave New World. And the runtime is not worth it. 2 hours? What did I watch 2 hours for? And I think the whole Red Hole character was kind of cool, but it was just a waste. Now, look, I get this film isn't for everyone, and I get it. That's why we're putting this in Don't Bother, because why did I pay my Regal Unlimited fee on this movie and I just was on my phone the whole time and everything like that? I almost fell asleep in the theater just watching this movie, so we're putting this in No Bother. Next up is The Unbreakable Boy. Okay, so now I understand the controversy about how this movie wasn't really anticipated and how this movie was kind of hated before it came out. But for me, in my personal opinion, I feel like no one should have an opinion about a movie before it comes out. But if it's a movie that doesn't look good from its trailer and everyone's hating on it, then yeah, that movie deserves to just go inside a dumpster fire. Now, it's not only that, but I also get the controversy of this movie and how Autism Speaks sponsored both the movie and the book that was written by Scott Lorette, who is one of the characters in the movie and who is one of the real life people of the inspiration for this movie. Which I get, but I don't care. This represents me very well. And look, I despise Autism Speaks, but this movie was actually pretty good. I love that I told the story of not only Austin, but of Scott and Teresa Lorette. And there were a lot of moments that I could personally relate to. Okay, well, maybe not all, but as a person with autism, I feel like I can relate to this movie, like 100%. And there were a lot of new medical things that I never learned from Grey's Anatomy or Chicago Med. Or you know what? Maybe I did learn about it. I just wasn't really paying attention. Who knows? Who knows? My only takeaway is Zachary Levi. And I won't talk about him right now because I want to get to the next movie. So overall, this is a great movie, but it's not Oscar gold in my book. Because if you want to make this Oscar gold, you have to make it like The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, or a movie like that. Not something like this. So we're going to be putting this in pop culture. Next up is The Monkey. I don't think I ever seen a comedy horror film before because this movie was pretty funny. And I actually didn't know it was adapted from a Stephen King novel up until I saw the credits. Because the only Stephen King novels that I know about is It and Shawshank Redemption. I think that's about it. No pun intended. I wasn't even trying to intend a pun, anyways. I love the coming of age themes that Osgood Perkins put into the movie at the exposition. And actually, speaking of the exposition, I thought the beginning was kind of cool, but it was kind of disgusting at the same time. And I love the beef between the two brothers in this film. And what I really loved about this movie is that Osgood Perkins kind of adapted some elements from Final Destination and adds them in. When you think about the scene of the lady diving into the pool, and when you think about the unexpected things that happens when you wind up the monkey and everything, I like that. The climax was well written. Everything about this movie is well written right here. So you guys are probably gonna be thinking this is gonna go in Oscar gold, but yeah, you guessed wrong because this is gonna go in pop culture. And you guys might be asking why, and it's mostly because I only see this movie getting nominated for Best Visual Effects. I don't really see it getting nominated for like Best Picture or Best Actor or Best Actress or any of those categories. So I only see it as Best VFX. But you know, it's enough to go into pop culture. So we're gonna be putting this in pop culture. Next up is Last Breath. Man, saying that title, it makes me feel like this should have been the last film of the first quarter for me to watch, but you know, the next film is gonna be a surprise. Now look, I really don't understand the hate for this movie or why this movie flopped in the box office. I love this movie. I love Simu Liu, Woody Harrelson, and Finn Cole as divers. And the fact that this is based off a real life event makes this even more emotional. I was holding on to my seat in the theater when I saw Chris get his cord snipped and lose flow of oxygen. Because honestly, I don't think I can experience anything like that. I mean, thank God I'm not a diver. It felt like I was playing Subnautica when I was watching this movie, when you account for the deep sea diving and everything like that, and like deep sea missions. Yeah, all that. Now, I understand that, you know, true story movies are kind of criticized for not being that true to the story, which I don't get, but dramatization is key, you know? And I understand that there were some parts that needed improvement in this movie, but, you know, I don't care. We're putting this in pop culture because it deserves to go there. Last film on this ranking video is One of Them Days. Now, this was supposed to be the one that I was supposed to see back in January and was supposed to be the first one that I was supposed to watch for the year, but I never got to. So, to make up for the time, you know, why not watch this before the second quarter? Now, look, I have no biasness when it comes to which city or area in California these types of comedy movies are supposed to be set in, so I think it's perfectly fine in LA. I like this movie, and I love how it's SZA's debut role. And I love Kiki Palmer in this movie. It's really, really funny. Now, a story about two girls trying to come up with rent money before 6 p.m. is actually really funny, given that I live in an apartment in the suburbs. Now, I love Cat Williams in comedy movies. In fact, you know, the last comedy film I've seen him in where he's a fortune teller was Father Figures. And he was a fortune teller in this one, and I thought it was even more funnier. And you know, now that I think about it, I feel like he's always that supporting actor who's always a fortune teller in comedy films. Maybe so. I don't know. Now, I love the story about how you're getting your blood drawn, you mess up someone's job interview, you get Jordans off the power line, you're gonna get killed for doing that. And I love how it's you hate each other until some serious moment in the movie. I love that about comedy films. This is overall great comedy from Lawrence Lamont, and I'll just never forget it. And I love how John Singleton's daughter is one of the producers of this film. So this is not Oscar gold, but it's getting there. And I love how they're making a sequel to this movie. So we're gonna be putting this in pop culture. That's all from the first quarter of 2025. A notable thing to say is a film that I missed out on this quarter was Mickey 17. And as of the time I'm making this video, it's now on Max. So maybe I'll watch it. And as of the time I am making this video, I can't wait to rank a Minecraft movie, Thunderbolts, Warfare, Final Destination Bloodlines, and Sinners, just to name a few. I know for this ranking that there weren't much films to rank, but it's the beginning of 2025, so cool your jets. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos heading your way. I will see you guys in the next video.